be me. I guess I should start this at the beginning. The real beginning. I'm 21, at university. One of those big, old brick ones on the East Coast. I'm not like the other girls. I'm not here to get a Mrs. degree or find a husband. I'm here to understand the world, to get the tools to change it. I've read the books, I've listened to the lectures. I see the invisible architecture of power all around me. Most people just walk through it, oblivious. I can't. My focus is sharp, my goals are clear. I know who I am and what I stand against. There's this guy in my year, Samuel. He's not in my classes. He's in the engineering department. All numbers and formulas. We end up in the same corner of the library most nights. He's quiet. Doesn't bother anyone. One evening, maybe a Tuesday, my laptop just dies. A black screen. This is a disaster. I have a major paper due in 2 days. I'm panicking. He must have heard my frustrated sigh because he looks over from his desk. He asks what's wrong. I explain the situation, probably sounding more dramatic than I needed to. Without a word, he pulls a small toolkit out of his backpack, the kind with tiny screwdrivers. He spends the next hour patiently taking the back off my laptop, testing things, tightening a connection. He doesn't talk much, just works. I'm just watching him, a little suspicious, a little grateful. He puts it all back together, presses the power button, and it boots up. Just like that. I'm flooded with relief. I thank him profusely. He just shrugs and says it was no problem. A couple of days later, he catches me outside the library. He's a bit awkward. He asks if I'd like to get coffee sometime. Not as a thank you, he specifies, but as a date. I feel this wave of exhaustion. I have to have the talk. I try to be kind but firm. I explain that I appreciate his help. I really do. It was an act of genuine solidarity. But I also explain that our fundamental dynamics just wouldn't work. I tell him that I need a partner who is on the same page, politically and ideologically. Someone who is actively engaged in dismantling oppressive structures, not just passively existing within them. I think I use the phrase unexamined privilege. His face doesn't get angry, just blank, like a TV screen switching off. He just nods slowly, says, "Okay, I understand," and walks away. I feel a momentary pang of something, maybe guilt, but I push it down. It's a matter of principle. You can't build a revolutionary future on a compromised foundation. A week or so later, I'm at an off-campus party, the kind held in a rundown apartment crammed with books and mismatched furniture. That's where I meet Walter. He's a grad student, older, smarter, magnetic. He doesn't talk about sports or majors. He talks about art, philosophy, the political implications of modern cinema. He listens to what I have to say. He looks me in the eye. He tells me I have a brilliantly critical mind. It feels like finally meeting someone who speaks my language. We talk for hours in a corner of the party while music blares around us. He gets it. He gets me. We start seeing each other. It's not like any relationship I've ever seen. It's intense, intellectual, a constant dialogue. He pushes me. He challenges my ideas. He'll read a paper I've written and point out all the ways I'm still thinking like a product of my conditioning. It stings, but I know he's doing it to make me better, to make me stronger. He's helping me shed the last vestiges of the world I'm trying to fight against. My best friend, Joyce, is wary of him. She's dating a business major, a nice, simple guy who plays on the university soccer team. She tells me Walter seems arrogant, that he seems to enjoy making me feel small. I try to explain it to her. It's not about making me feel small, it's about challenging me to be bigger. She says her boyfriend just makes her laugh and brings her soup when she's sick. I feel a kind of sad pity for her. She's choosing comfort over growth. She's settling. She'll end up in the suburbs with 2.5 kids, living the exact life we're supposed to be fighting against. She can't see the bigger picture. My relationship with Walter deepens. It's also a constant source of friction. He starts to critique more than just my essays. He comments on my clothes. He explains that wearing a certain type of dress is pandering to patriarchal beauty standards. He tells me that my interest in certain popular music is a sign of my unexamined consumerism. I slowly start to change. I dress more severely. I listen to more obscure, politically significant music. I drop some of my old friends because Walter finds them intellectually vapid. It feels like I'm being refined, stripped down to my essential, radical core. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I just want to watch a stupid movie or go for a walk without analyzing the socio-economic landscape. But then he'll say something so brilliant, so insightful, that I feel ashamed of my own weakness. He's operating on a higher level, and I need to keep up. Joyce gets engaged to her soccer player boyfriend right after graduation. I go to her engagement party. It's at his parents' house. Big backyard, white picket fence. Everyone is so normal. They talk about jobs, mortgages, wedding venues. Walter refuses to go. He says he can't stomach that level of bourgeois conformity. I go alone and feel like an anthropologist studying a strange tribe. Joyce pulls me aside. She's so happy. She asks me if I'm happy. I tell her I am. I tell her my life has purpose, that Walter and I are building something meaningful. She looks at me, and there's a sadness in her eyes. He never seems to just enjoy you, she says. He's always trying to fix you. I get defensive. I tell her she doesn't understand. We don't talk much for a while after that. My life continues. Walter and I move into a small apartment together after he finishes his degree. I get a junior position in a non-profit organization. The work is meaningful, but doesn't pay well. Walter is a freelance intellectual. He writes articles for small journals that nobody reads and works on a book he never seems to finish. I end up paying most of the bills. He explains this through a critical lens. My job is part of the capitalist machine, so it's only right that the capital it generates should be used to support his anti-capitalist work. It makes a strange kind of sense. The cracks, however, are starting to show. I come home one day and find a wisp of long blonde hair on his pillow. My hair is dark brown. I confront him. I'm expecting a denial, a fight. What I get is a lecture. He sits me down and explains, with academic calm, that monogamy is a patriarchal construct designed to control women and commodify relationships. He tells me my jealousy is a learned response, a symptom of a possessive capitalist mindset. He says he wasn't cheating. He was engaging in an act of relational deconstruction. He says this with a straight face. He is so convincing, his arguments so layered with theory, that I almost believe him. I feel my anger being twisted into confusion and then into guilt. Am I the one who is unenlightened? Am I the one clinging to old, repressive ideas? We stay together, but something is broken. The trust is gone. I start to feel less like a partner and more like a project, or a patron. The final break comes a few months later. It's not dramatic. It's quiet and devastating. He sits me down on our lumpy sofa. He tells me it's over. He says he's tired. He's tired of the struggle. He tells me he's spent his entire adult life deconstructing, analyzing, and fighting, and he just can't do it anymore. Then he delivers the final blow. He says he needs something simple, something real and uncomplicated. He tells me he's moving in with someone else, the blonde freshman he was deconstructing relations with. The irony is so thick, I feel like I'm choking on it. He used the very intellectual framework he taught me to justify his actions, and then abandoned it the second it became inconvenient. I don't cry, I don't yell, I just feel hollow. He packs a bag, tells me I'm a brilliant woman, but that he needs less brilliance and more peace. And then he leaves. I sit in that silent apartment for a long time. Joyce comes over a few days later. She must have heard. She doesn't say, "I told you so." She just sits with me, brings me groceries, and helps me pack his things into boxes. During that time, a new kind of resolve hardens inside me. My mistake wasn't my belief system. My mistake was trusting a man to share it. Walter wasn't a true believer. He was a hypocrite, a manipulator who used the language of liberation for his own selfish ends. All of them were like that, probably. Even the good ones, like Samuel, were just complacent parts of the machine. The conclusion is clear. I can't rely on a partner to build the world I want. I have to do it myself. I have to become so successful, so powerful, that I am untouchable. My career will be my partner. My success will be my validation. This is where the next chapter of my life begins. I leave the non-profit world. It's noble, but powerless. To change the system, you have to be inside it. You have to speak its language, money, and power. I go back to school, get a business-focused master's degree. I cut my hair short. I start wearing power suits. I build a wall of professionalism around myself. I land a job in human resources at a fast-growing tech company. HR is the nervous system of the corporation. It's where the rules are made. It's where the culture is shaped. I found my battlefield. I'm in my early 30s. I'm climbing the ladder fast. I'm good at my job because I understand people and I understand systems. I introduce new initiatives, unconscious bias training, mentorship programs for women, aggressive diversity hiring targets. Some of the male executives are resistant. They see me as a nuisance, the PC police. They don't matter. I have the law and company policy on my side. I always win. My personal life is barren. I try online dating for a while. It's a disaster. My profile is honest. I describe myself as an ambitious, intelligent, politically aware woman. The men I match with seem intimidated, or they're just looking for something easy. I go on a handful of dates. One guy, an architect, seems promising. He's smart. He's polite. Over dinner, he makes the mistake of saying he's looking to settle down, that he dreams of a wife and a couple of kids to take to baseball games. I can't help myself. I launch into a critique of the nuclear family as a tool of patriarchal oppression. I watch the light go out of his eyes. He politely pays the bill, and I never hear from him again. Another guy is a finance bro. He's arrogant, but successful. He spends the whole date talking about his portfolio and his weekend house. He represents everything I despise, the casual confidence of a man who has never had to question his place in the world. I end the date early. I realize the problem isn't me. It's the pool of available men. They either want a mommy wife to cook their meals or a trophy to show off to their friends. Nobody is looking for an equal. Nobody is looking for a partner in the truest sense of the word. So I stop looking. My work is fulfilling enough. My apartment is my sanctuary. I have everything under control. I see Joyce for brunch every few months. She has 2 kids now. She's tired but happy. She talks about PTA meetings, soccer practice, and family vacations. It sounds like a foreign language to me, a life of domestic servitude. I talk about my latest promotion, the new company policies I've implemented, the conference I'm speaking at next month. I'm changing the world. She's changing diapers. I feel a familiar sense of pity for her. She had so much potential. I'm 38. I'm a director of HR. I make a 6-figure salary. I own my own condo. I travel for work. I am, by every objective measure, a success. I am also profoundly alone. The quiet in my perfectly curated apartment is becoming loud. I tell myself it's the price of a meaningful life. You can't have it all. This is a choice, a powerful choice. I am independent. I am free. I keep telling myself that. The years between my late 30s and late 40s blur into a series of promotions, board meetings, and business trips. I become a vice president. My corner office has a view of the entire city. My life runs on a perfectly optimized schedule. 6 a.m. gym session, 12-hour workday, organic meal delivery, an hour of reading before bed. It's a fortress of routine I've built to keep the silence at bay. The dating scene becomes even more impossible. Men my age are either married, divorced, and looking for a 25-year-old, or single and have the kind of glaring personality flaws that explain why. The power dynamic has also shifted. At work, I'm the one in charge. In my personal life, that same confidence and authority seem to be a repellent. Men don't want a partner who is their equal in the boardroom. They want someone soft, someone accommodating, someone who doesn't challenge them. I learned this the hard way on a date with a surgeon, a man who is my peer in terms of career and intellect. We have a decent conversation until he starts complaining about a female resident at his hospital. He calls her too aggressive and uncooperative. I point out that those same traits in a man would likely be described as assertive and a leader. His face tightens. The rest of the dinner is cold. He makes an excuse to leave early. I've become too good at seeing the matrix. I can't unsee it, and it makes me impossible to be with. Meanwhile, the culture at my own company starts to shift under my feet. A new generation enters the workforce. They grew up online. Their politics are different, more intense, more fragmented. The things I fought for, equal pay, representation in leadership, they take for granted. Their battles are about pronouns, microaggressions, and safe spaces. I find myself on the wrong side of the new vanguard. During a company-wide town hall, I use the phrase empowering women in the workplace. After, a young employee from the marketing team sends a company-wide email. The email gently but firmly explains that my language was exclusionary and that the correct term is people who menstruate to be inclusive of trans men. I feel a sting of indignation. Me, the woman who built this company's entire diversity program, being lectured on inclusivity by a 23-year-old. My brand of feminism, forged in the academic battles of the 90s, is now considered old-fashioned, obsolete, even problematic. I start to feel like a relic in the very world I helped create. Joyce and I still have our occasional brunches. Her kids are in high school now. She's gone back to work part-time as a landscape designer, a passion she'd put on hold. She seems vibrant, fulfilled. Her life isn't just about her family anymore, but her family is clearly the bedrock of it. I tell her about my frustrations at work, about feeling like the revolution has eaten its own. She listens patiently. Then she says something that stays with me. Maybe the point isn't to have a perfect, airtight ideology. Maybe it's just to be a good person and build a life with people you love. I dismiss it at the time as sentimental fluff, but the words linger. The day of my 50th birthday arrives. It feels monumental, half a century. I told my team I'd be working from home. I didn't want the awkward office cake and the forced singing. The day passes in a quiet, sterile procession of hours. Emails come in. Happy birthday, in bright, cheerful fonts from people whose lives I barely intersect with. Joyce calls. She's the only one who does. We talk for a bit. She invites me to her family's Sunday dinner. I tell her I'll think about it. As evening falls, I'm sitting in my beautiful, silent living room. I order a single slice of expensive cake from a nearby patisserie. I light a single candle, blow it out, and eat the cake standing over the kitchen counter. The silence is deafening. It's not peaceful anymore. It's a presence, an emptiness that fills every corner of the room. I open my laptop, just to have some noise, some distraction. I scroll through social media, a mindless habit, and then I see it. A post from Joyce. It's a huge photo album. The title is Bill's 50th birthday bash. Bill is her husband, the soccer player. I click through the photos. It's a big backyard barbecue, There must be 50 people there. There are photos of Joyce and Bill, arms around each other, laughing. They look older, of course, but they look happy, genuinely happy. There are their kids, now young adults with their own partners. There are friends, neighbors, a whole sprawling community. In one photo, a man is standing by the grill, flipping burgers. He's laughing at something someone said. He's heavier. His hair is graying at the temples, but I recognize him immediately. It's Samuel. He looks content. The kind of deep, settled contentment that can't be faked. I scan the other photos. In another, he's sitting at a picnic table, talking to a woman who has her hand resting on his arm. She's smiling up at him. I find out later she's Bill's sister. They've been married for almost 20 years. They're all part of this web of connections, this big, messy, beautiful thing called a shared life. I feel a physical pain in my chest, a deep, hollow ache. A thought, sharp and cruel, cuts through my carefully constructed defenses. That could have been you. Not necessarily with him, but this warmth, this belonging. I close the tab, my hands shaking slightly. A strange, morbid curiosity takes hold of me, a need to see the whole picture, to complete the story. I open a search engine. I type in a name I haven't thought about in decades. Walter. The search results are immediate. He's not hard to find. He's an author. Not of dense academic texts, but of popular history books, the kind you see in airport bookstores. He's successful. Very successful. And there's a recent video interview. It's from a mainstream, almost conservative news channel. The headline is, "The Importance of Tradition in a Chaotic World." I click play. The man on the screen is a stranger. He's handsome, silver-haired, wearing an expensive-looking sweater. He's sitting in a rustic, beautiful study, a fireplace crackling behind him. He's talking. His voice is the same, calm and authoritative, but the words are all wrong. He's talking about how the radical ideas of his youth were a dangerous dead end. He says, "I spent so much time trying to tear everything down, I never learned how to build anything." He talks about the profound, simple truth of family, the essential anchor of a stable home. The interviewer asks him about what changed his perspective. Walter smiles. It's a soft, gentle smile. "My wife," he says, "she saved me from myself. She taught me that the most radical thing you can do is to love someone unconditionally and build a life together." He talks about the importance of a loyal partner who provides a sanctuary from the storms of the world. He says he realized that all the complex theories were just noise, that the only thing that truly matters is having someone to come home to. The interviewer asks about his wife. The camera pans slightly. A woman walks into the frame, carrying a tray with 2 cups of tea. She's older now, with laugh lines around her eyes, but I recognize her instantly, the blonde freshman. She sets the tea down, places a hand on Walter's shoulder. He looks up at her with pure, uncomplicated affection. The woman who didn't challenge him, the woman who just lived, the woman he chose because she offered peace. I slam the laptop shut. The screen goes black, and in the polished, dark surface, I see my own reflection. A 50-year-old woman, alone in a pristine apartment that feels like a museum of a life that was successful, but never lived. I look around the room. The expensive art on the walls, the designer furniture, the awards on my bookshelf, trophies from a game I won. But it was the wrong game. I spent my entire life trying to dismantle a system, only to end up completely isolated by my own rules. I saw relationships as a battlefield of ideologies, not a partnership of people. I was so busy looking for a man who was ideologically perfect that I never stopped to ask what I actually needed. Companionship, kindness, a hand to hold. Samuel offered kindness, and I called it complacency. Walter offered an ideology, and it was just a mask for his own selfishness. I thought I was choosing power over pity. I thought I was choosing freedom over compromise. But I look at my reflection in the dark screen. I have the power. I have the freedom. And I have never, ever felt so profoundly empty.